Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Golf Talk Live. I'm your host, Ted Odorico. Welcome back, everybody. I know you had a great, hopefully everybody had a great Thanksgiving and took a little break last week and probably ate a little more than I should, but that's certainly something that I think we've all done once in a while, and it doesn't hurt as long as it's confined to a short period of time. And what better time of the year than Thanksgiving to appreciate all the wonderful blessings that we have in our life. But tonight we're back on the first show back, and I got a couple of guests coming on tonight. The first one is Mark Naes. He was on I think the last show, if I'm not mistaken, or might have been the one before that. He is the executive director of the Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour. He came on and talked a little bit about that, but I wanted to have him back again and talk a little bit more. There's a lot to cover in that area, and he's got some not only a tournament coming up here shortly, but that we're going to obviously give you the dates and so forth and the location, but also he's got a schedule for next year as well that we want to make you aware of some of the tournaments coming up early in the new year. So I'm going to bring him out here in just a second, but before I do that, I obviously want to remind each and every one of you that throughout the program at any time, this is a live broadcast from the hours of 6 p.m. Central Standard Time through to 8 p.m. Usually I go sometimes not always to the full 8 p.m. slot, but depending on what I've got planned for the evening. But I certainly do try to cover all of it and obviously got a lot of great things happening in the new year that I'm going to tell you about here in a second. But just to remind you those that during the live broadcast, if you want to call into the program and either speak to myself or the guests, you're certainly welcome to do so. And the number, again, to call into the program is area code 646-716-4667. And you can call in and speak to myself or any of the guests at any time during the live performance. So I hope you'll get a chance to do that. And just even if you want to just stop by and say hello, I appreciate you doing that. For those of you that want to send me an email, and if you've got some questions that you throw up there as well, you can certainly email me at ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. That's ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. Always find some interesting emails to read, and I'll be more than happy to read them here live on air here on Golf Talk Live. We're live as I said, every Thursday evening at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, and always love those of you that tune in on a regular basis. Appreciate that, and the audience, of course, is growing each and every week, and I appreciate all of you spreading the word. Also, when you get a chance, those of you that do the Facebook thing, also have a page on Facebook at facebook.com/Golf Talk Live blog. Would certainly appreciate you visiting that page and throwing a few likes my way. Certainly want to build that page as well. And I've said jokingly the last few weeks that I've been bragging on my Twitter stats are slowly creeping up there, and so I'm going to throw that out there as well for those of you that do go on Twitter. And that my Twitter handle is Ted and Buck CEO. And the CEO is in caps, but you'll find me, I'm sure. And I want to thank all of those in the last few weeks since I've been bragging on the program here for following me on Twitter. So I appreciate that, and hopefully we'll get some more up there. I think just in the last few weeks alone, I've had an additional 100 followers on Twitter, so I appreciate that, guys. Keep it up. And lastly, I want you to, especially now with the holidays coming up, I want you to visit the Golf Talk Live website, and it's www.golftalkliveblog.com. Got some great products on there. I'll tell you a little bit about those later on. But let me bring my guest out there. He's waiting in the wings. And as I said, my special guest this evening, my first guest is Mark Naes, the Executive Director of the Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour. And he's going to come on here and, as I said, talking a little bit about some of the great exciting things that he's got to finish this year off and get us started for next year to help some of those collegiate players. Anyways, just want to welcome Mark to Golf Talk Live.
Ted, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on this evening so I can talk about the college experience right now.
Well, I appreciate that. And just for those of you that are tuning in to the live performance, Mark and I were talking a little bit off air, and basically what I wanted to do this evening, Mark, as I said to you, is I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of, walk us through how this sort of came about and your ideas behind why you wanted to come up with this tour and the purposes. And then we'll get into a little bit about the tournaments and some of the benefits that some of these young players can gain and experiences that they can gain along the way. So let's sort of walk it back a little bit and just kind of let us know how you got started in this.
Well, this all got started back when I was a tournament director with the Nike Tour. Back in the 1990s, the Hogan Tour was purchased by the PGA Tour. to become their third arm, which is now the web.com. And when they did, they expanded to they went from an 18-event schedule on the Hogan Tour to a 30-event schedule on the Nike Tour. So the tour was in search of new formats, new venues, and new directors. And I got involved with that. It was one of the highlights of my career, being involved with the young pros working their way to the PGA Tour. And during that course of with the Nike Tour, I started playing some junior AMs on Monday instead of the regular pro-ams that we have on Monday. And that became a major hit out there, where the pros actually got to play with the high school players. That led me to putting on some junior events, and the juniors come to me and ask me about college golf. That's their next stage of their lives. And what can we do to get them more exposed to it? And that's how the Hardee's Collegiate Tournament Series got started. And now in our fourth year, we're going to be, next year, we're starting up our TPC Tournament Series, and we'll be playing at some of the nicest TPC facilities around the country.
Perfect. Now, I know that, as I said, we're going to get in a few minutes some of the specifics of the tournament and things like that, but what's really, the mandate, if you will, of the Collegiate Golf Tour? Just to give you an example, I'm going to read something that you had sent me here, and just to give people a little better understanding exactly what the Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour is really about. And so let me just read this real quick, Mark, and then I'll let you jump back in. But the Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour is a nonprofit organization that allows the NCAA Collegiate Golfer to be a member of an association that qualifies them to participate in highly competitive tournaments with the opportunity to play in some of the finest facilities that the professional golfers play, which you had just indicated. Obviously, it's to create an atmosphere of a tour event and sort of the true spirit of camaraderie and competition, while at the same time setting some barriers and creating a lifetime experience for some of these youngsters. They're just sort of working their way up through the game. So it's certainly a worthwhile cause and a tour that you've put together here. What, if anything, would be your main sort of mandate, if you will, for the tour? What is it you want to envision as you go down the road?
Well, what I want to do is put together juniors and collegiates, and this is a format that allows me to do it because the communities I'm in and where we host our tournaments, I get the junior golfers in those areas to participate in helping with the golf tournament, actually running it, being runners or scorers or caddies. They do a wonderful job with that, but they get to spend time and get to know the collegiate player and get to ask the important questions. What's life going to be like for me on playing under a college golf coach, where I've been playing under a high school coach that doesn't really understand the game, and the game is not taken as serious as it is at the collegiate level. So he's able to ask these questions. And you know, like we use social media now, this Facebooking, and something that I've gotten into. Yeah. And now all my kids are Facebooking the college players, and then I'll get posts from my kids telling me, you know, hey, did you see that this guy shot this in this tournament, or this girl shot this in this tournament? So they follow that, and I'm a firm believer that these kids need some, you know, that next level. They should always be attuned to, and be. Have that opportunity to be part of that, and to see the college players actually take these kids under their wings, and when they're on the driving range practicing, they're talking to each other, and that's what I appreciate more than anything of all this, is just seeing that one smile on a kid's face that he was with this standout college golfer, and we have been absolutely getting tremendous caliber of play in our competitions of our tournaments.
Well, it's really, if I understand you, and I believe I do correctly, it's really a stepping stone. I mean, these youngsters have like many of us that enjoy golf, were bitten by the bug at an early age, and they've had the good fortune to be able to play in competition throughout their various years at school, and again, high school, and then leading obviously into the collegiate level, for some of the better players, obviously. But it's really a stepping stone for those that want to advance in a career, and your series of tournaments really helps prepare them for that competitiveness, because it's as we all know, it's tough out there on the big tours. And so for them to have some real-time experience of competition, other than just with their buddies on the weekend or something like that, and in a professionally run event like you're doing, this prepares them not only physically to fine-tune their games, but also prepares them mentally. Would that be pretty much what your goal is here?
Absolutely. That is exactly the format that we're using, and that's why the scholarship dollars are important too. All these kids, when they go to college, they're not like football players or basketball players where they receive full scholarships. In golf, college coach might have 4 scholarships amongst 12 players that he's going to have to split that money up. So this allows them not only some great competition, but it gives them that learning curve of how to win. And
right.
The ultimate goal is they're going to get some scholarship dollars out of this, and it produces a champion is what it does. And you're correct in saying that this is the next level. This is the next step for these kids. And after coming from a rigorous junior schedule, when they get to that college level, play enough collegiate tournaments, which is understandable. They're there to go to school.
Sure.
That's their first priority.
Yeah.
Golf is secondary for them, but the tournament schedule is not quite the same. This gives them the latitude during the summer months that they can compete in a series of events, being highly competitive and keeping their games fine-tuned to get them ready for their next season of college golf.
Right, and as you say, it's a great stepping stone, and it's done at a time that is convenient to their schedule as well. Because as you said, obviously during school, things like that, they've got other things. They should be cracking the books, as they say, studying and things like that. And obviously they're playing, for their various teams and things like that. So it's kind of hard to work that in there during that busy time. But I think it's a great concept. And just for those of you that are listening in this evening, this is a fantastic thing that Mark has put together, and I feel very fortunate that Jonathan, who's going to be joining us a little bit later in my program tonight from South Coast Golf Guide, really put Mark and I together. And when I heard some of the things that you were doing, Mark, I was certainly more than happy, and as I mentioned to you a few moments ago off air, more than happy to help promote this. I think it's a fantastic thing. I think it's something that really a lot of the juniors out there need to have this exposure. And for you willing to invest your time and resources and with the help, of course, some great sponsors, and I want to give you an opportunity here in a minute to acknowledge them. But to be able to put something together like this is just I appreciate you stepping up to the plate to do that, because it's not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of time, I'm sure, and a lot of effort and energy on your part to put this tour together. So my hat's off to you for doing that.
Well, thank you, Ted. I appreciate that. I mean, we're in our 4th year now, and I couldn't do it without my past experience of working with the Nike Tour. And the PGA Tour taught me how to put on an event. For 4 years, I was a player relations director before I became a tournament director. So I saw both ends. And the players, I kept doing more and more for the players and learning how to treat them appropriately at the tournament sites. And so that's the way we treat these players when they come to our golf tournament. It is a relaxed atmosphere for them. The golf courses that we play absolutely appreciate having these kids around. The demeanor of these kids and the show that they put on for us, and they just do a wonderful job. So the members all get involved and come out and support the tournament. And like you said, it takes a lot of people and a lot of effort to put on one of these events. And I have a great list of sponsors affiliated with me, and I couldn't do it without them.
Well, and we're just in a second here. We're gonna talk about some of those sponsors. And you had mentioned there just a moment ago about a lot of the collegiate players don't necessarily receive full scholarships. So obviously, by having these tournaments and having some great sponsors, basically pony up some funds to help this out. Not only in the actual running of the tournament, but I want you to particularly talk about Hardy's, because you mentioned them earlier in the first segment here about them stepping up, and you've got a series there, and you've also got another series as well. So let's talk about Hardy's. What has Hardy's done to really help you knock this out of the park?
Well, when I first decided I wanted to have a collegiate golf tour, I had to have a title sponsor that had a national name to it, And Greg Hazard of the Paradigm Investment Group, who they are opening up their 97th Hardee's franchise in the Southeastern United States. I went to him, and I just, quite frankly, told Greg he's a golfer. He's a supporter of junior golf in this area here, and I told him I'd like to have his corporation behind me. And I will not charge him a dime. Sponsorship is free. I said, all I want you to do is get the exposure of it, and if all things work out, I think you'll come back to the table. Well, Greg's in his 4th year now of title sponsorship here, and it's gotten bigger and better every year. I couldn't do it without their support. They're now feeding our breakfasts. They built us a franchise near the golf course there, so we get some fresh Hardee's breakfasts, which are out of this world in the mornings for our golfers. Yeah. And very appreciative.
Yeah, they actually just opened one not too far from me here in Panama City Beach, I get drawn in there probably more than I should, but yeah, they have some great food there. And I'm only saying this as I'm getting a little older and a little thicker around the waist, but anyways. But also, too, one of the things, the reason why I wanted to point this out is obviously with the help of the sponsors and the fact that you've been doing this now for a few years, it's helped you to generate the funds, because obviously you are a nonprofit organization. But you're actually able to, and you mentioned here in some of the information you had sent me, that you're actually now in a position to give out some scholarship dollars to the winners of the tournaments and that. So tell us a little bit about that and what's involved and how all that works.
Well, Greg Hazard Hardee's again stepped up to the plate, and he put out a challenge to the Old River Optimist Club, which is another organization that I'm involved with, and I'm involved with the Optimist Junior Golf. We put on a local qualifier here for that in Pensacola. But Greg Hazard approached us and says, I will give match dollar for dollar everything that you raise for us to give out for scholarships. And this year, we're at the tune of $12,000 in scholarship money, and next year we should be in position to be anywhere between $20,000 to $30,000 in scholarship money, and that's quite substantial to somebody who, whose parents, can't afford for him, and he's on financial aid at the school there. So this is a tremendous benefit to these kids, and so the PGA Tour is set up as a charity organization, and they do a great thing in giving dollars to the local hospitals and all that. My association is giving dollars back in scholarship. That's what we're about.
Yeah, and that's great. And you really hit a very valid point, and especially in this day and age with so many uncertainties out there. We obviously want the youngsters to get a good education, and it's not always easy for some parents out there to put together. And there's not always unfortunately, this is a golf show, not a political show, but unfortunately, sometimes the powers that be direct their monies elsewhere, and unfortunately, the ones that suffer tend to be the kids. So, again, it's great that you're doing this, Mark, and able to help give back to your community, and I really do this on a national basis, because you're not just doing it in your local area. This is really all over the place that you're doing this now. But you're getting a lot of help, obviously, I know locally, along the way from people that you're involved with, both personally and in business. Who are some of the other sponsors that we should recognize that are doing some great things with your golf tour?
Well, one of the other great sponsors we have is the J. Lindbergh Golf Company, and they are an apparel company out of Europe. And they have several players on the PGA Tour that wears their apparel, but the J. Lindbergh Company gives a golf shirt, and this is a very nice golf shirt that they give to every contestant for every tournament that we have. And that is a nice bonus for these kids. It gets them, but there again, it's starting to teach them that whole professional, this is what's going to happen. People are going to want you to wear their clothing. So I'm trying to get them ready to, this is your next level. If you go play professional golf, these are the companies that are going to be coming after you. Jay Lindbergh is one of them, and they do a wonderful job with my shirts, as well as the Bridgestone Golf Company, who supplies all my range balls for me. The players at our tournaments actually hit the Bridgestone Tour 330 golf ball as their practice ball at each one of our tournaments. And that's not something that kids are used to. And at the same time, we have the kids' names, just like at the professional tournament. They have their own hitting spot, their name on that station there that they're hitting from. So we set
Right.
the tournament up like we would at a tour event. Bridgestone does a great job with that. Each contestant also gets a dozen Bridgestone golf balls when they participate in our tournament. And so I can't thank Bridgestone enough. But the list just goes on and on. There's 30 different companies that we work with right now in some capacity and helping us out in some form of our tour. If it's just the Desante water allowing us to, giving us water so that we can give to the players. Just like at a professional event, I'll have Desante water on every other tee box. So.
Right, and just to, for those that are tuning into the program, that they're maybe not familiar with what goes on in a tournament. I mean, we all watch it on TV and we see it, but we don't really realize what goes on behind the scenes. A lot of those things that you just mentioned, and I'm talking from a monetary standpoint, really add up. It's a very expensive proposition. I know for a number of years, and you may or may not remember this from previous conversation, but I'm originally from up north. I'm from Canada, and sort of migrated south here because I was quite frankly tired of shoveling snow. But I had some exposure at the Canadian Open, which is a PGA sanctioned event and goes on every year. And it was actually played in the town right next to where I lived at the time. And, I mean, there's a lot of volunteers, of course, that pitch in and do a lot of stuff. But there's also a lot of resources. And, obviously the PGA Tour does a great thing that you're, I'm sure, very familiar with. But it's a very expensive proposition putting on these different events. And so it's great that these companies that you're involved with, Mark, have really stepped up and helped you along the way, because without that, additional resources and dollars and that sort of thing, it's difficult to put together a top quality tournament. And it sounds like, you're really putting forth a great effort to make it, by having the personalized names there on the range for these players. Because you're right, that's exactly what it's like at some of the top events, and it just gives those youngsters a sense of pride and acknowledgement, that that this is a big event for them.
Well, the cost factor is very important, and one of the things that we decided was we had to have a good group of sponsors in order for us to put an affordable tournament for the kids. I had a parent call me last week and said, Mark, my child was thinking about going to play and in the Dixie Amateur. And the Dixie Amateur is one of the top amateur tournaments in the country. The cost of his child to go down and play in the Dixie Amateur, he could have played in 3 of our tournaments. So now a parent has to weigh the factor of, where can I get the most exposure for my dollar? And and that's why we put our entry fees down at the level we do. When we consider that we give lodging, we give food, the shirts, the golf balls, and their total entry fee is only $390. And that covers everything. All we ask them to do is land at Pensacola Airport. We will pick them up from that standpoint, and we will take care of them until the tournament's over with, and we take them back to the airport. So to ask that dollar, trying to keep it down, making it more affordable for these kids.
Yeah, and that's so important, because like you said earlier, you alluded to earlier, when you were referencing the scholarship money and that, some of these kids, I mean, some of them may be in a different position financially, but there are a lot of kids out there that just don't have access to this quality of tournament. And, through yourself and of course the sponsors, Mark, you're able to give them that top quality experience. And I guarantee you that's why you're getting the positive feedback that you are. These kids, are obviously very serious about the game. They want to take it to another level, and along the way they want to be able to have that and share and enjoy that experience. And you're helping to provide that. So I really appreciate what you're doing. Mark, we're going to just take a real quick little break here. Just a few seconds here. I want to run a little spot on a product here that I've done a segment here before, and then we'll come back and talk about the actual tournaments themselves. So just hang tight for a second, Mark, and I'm just going to run this quick little infomercial that I put together for Star Putter putting tool. It's a great little product. We've got Christmas coming up here in a few weeks. It's hard to believe, but this is maybe something that you want to get that golfer in your household. So have a listen.
Hi, this is Ted from Golf Talk Live. Are you looking to make more putts, shoot lower scores, and just play better golf? Now you can with the Star Putter putting tool. Simply use the tool 5 minutes before your next round and make 3 to 5 more putts. Practice with Star Putter 15 to 20 minutes, 3 times a week, and lower your handicap after just 10 rounds. Star Putter putting tool, available now at starputter.com.
Okay, well, thank you for standing by there, Mark. I just wanted to get that in there quickly before we jump into the next segment. Let's talk about, Mark, some of the tournaments. First off, let's cover the one that's coming up here in a few weeks. I did mention it on the last show before I took the Thanksgiving break. The next tournament is the Hardy's Old River Optimist Collegiate Tournament at Perdido Bay Golf Course in Pensacola, and that's going to be December 27th to the 30th, which is coming up here in a couple of weeks. Let's talk about that tournament, and you were mentioning off air that you're pretty much at capacity for that, are you not?
Yeah, our full fields are 72 players, and we're right now at 68 players for this field. So it'll be a full field. We'll probably add on a few more, but looking forward to having all these great kids. I've got kids coming from California, from Oregon, from New York, from Pennsylvania, Ohio, and kids from Ontario, Canada is coming down.
Wow.
In fact, he's coming in town next week, and he's going to stay here for 2 weeks. He's a pretty smart kid. He's not going back home.
We got another Mickelson perhaps on our hands here, because that's usually what he does. He flies in a little bit early and gets the lay of the land and that. So yeah, I don't blame him coming down here, especially from Ontario, because that's where I'm from originally. And let me tell you, it's a little cold up there right now. But that's the thing that's great. Is the fact that you are drawing in, and I don't recall off the top of my head, but you had mentioned this the last time. You're getting players really from quite a few different states, and obviously in Canada as well, participating. So it's not just, even though that the tournament's being held in Pensacola, it's not, necessarily just the local area that you're drawing from. You're drawing from really all over the United States and obviously into Canada as well.
Well, absolutely. We have now had players from 41 different states and 19 different countries. And for this tournament already, we have players from London, players from France, players from South Africa, and players from Brazil are signed up for this event. So We're real pleased with the international kids that we have received, with the kids from around the United States. We've had 22 of our players in our 4 years now are now out playing on some type of a professional golf tour. And one of them actually played last year on the LPGA tour. One of our girl players.
Wow!
We talk about those. We talk about the cost of we talked about the cost of golf, and these kids don't get a lot of scholarship. Let me just tell a quick story. Our last summer's champion was a great junior golfer. He calls me, he was looking forward to playing in the Hardy's tournament. I get a call from this young man who's, and I'm not going to mention the college that he goes for, but he calls me up 2 weeks for the tournament and tells me that, Mr. Mark, he said, I apologize, but my parents can't afford the entry fee. He said, so I'm going to have to withdraw from the tournament. And knowing this kid, knowing what kind of kid he was, I immediately told him, I said, young man, your entry fee is paid for. You're now going to play in the golf tournament. He not only came and played in the golf tournament, he shot 9 under for the 3 rounds, won the tournament, and won scholarship dollars.
Wow!
So that just kind of tells you, that is one of a great story to tell. But there's just hundreds more of those behind the scenes that are going on, and we're very happy to be a part of all of that.
And let me just add to that too. And I've said this to many others. I'm a firm believer in doing things to help others. I think that's really, what we're all here for. Too often we hear of stories, people helping themselves and really, being greedy and things like that. And unfortunately, that's their choice in life. But this just shows you that. And I can assure you of this, Mark, that act of generosity on your part will be a defining moment in that young man's life. At some point, down the road when he's moving on to bigger and better things, he's going to reflect on that, and it's that type of thing. And, even though you're not asking for anything in return, you have the satisfaction of knowing that you've done something to help a young person out there. And I can guarantee you that gentleman, as he gets older, will remember that as a defining moment in his life, that somebody reached out and did something for him. And he not only, as you said, he not only showed up for the tournament and played in the tournament, but he won the tournament. So that just shows you how much excitement that you generated in that young man's life. So again, hats off to you, Mark, for doing that.
Well, I think that just goes back to when I was a junior golfer and men were I needed a positive man role model in my life, and I reached out to a PGA Tour player, and he was just one of the top players in the world, actually, and he befriended me. And if it weren't for him being a role model and being involved in my life, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now and trying to give back to these kids. And I think just like this young man who won that scholarship, when he reaches my age, he'll be doing the same thing that I'm doing right now, trying to give back and trying to be positive into a young man's life.
Well, excuse me, it reminds me just a quick little comment I want to make, just to give you another example, and I don't know if you had a chance to tune in during that broadcast. If not, Mark, at some point when you get a chance, I know you're busy with the tournaments coming up and that, but take a listen to one of the earlier broadcasts that I did actually on November 7th, where I had, of course, the legendary Billy Casper on the program, and you want to talk about a man that steps up to the plate and gives back. A lot of them I know on the tour are very generous and things like that, but Billy was just a true blessing to have on this program. And one of the things that really resonated the most is exactly what you're just talking about is, Billy has been very blessed in his career with not only winning a number of tournaments and having, success in his day, but he is giving back through his foundation, Billy's Kids. And that's what he's all about. And he really resonates that point on my program there. So if you get a chance, if you haven't listened to it yet, I certainly invite you to do so, Mark, to go back and listen to that broadcast, the recorded version, and you can really hear in his voice and in his comments how important that is about giving back, to not just his community, but, kids all over the United States. So he's doing really exactly what you're talking about is really mentoring some of these young people out there. And again, I can't emphasize enough how important that is, especially in this day and age.
Well, I think if you're a golfer yourself, you learn this over time. It builds up in you. That generation of Billy Casper was the generation that I followed when I was a kid growing up. So the Billy Caspers, the Gary players, and that's who I was mentioning earlier. I was fortunate to have Gary Player come into my life, and he gave me my very first set of golf clubs when I was 12 years old. So I had a positive man that had an interest in me every year when he came and played in the Pensacola Open here. So that led me down my path of junior golf. And I see that now in the kids that are even in college now, going back to their home communities, and they're working on, putting on charity events. Golf leads to that. It leads to help healing kids. And most of your fundraisers in golf and the PGA Tour pros are the best of it. They go back in their communities and they give back to the juniors and give back to the youth. And just like we have Bubba Watson here in town, who gives back to our community and sponsoring all the entry fee money for the juniors to play in a local junior tournament they call here the Divot Derby. But it's through his generosity and those people that will always have an impact on other young child's lives, and that's what it's all about.
And that's so true. I mean, we can't really emphasize enough, how important that is. And you're right. A lot of the guys and the gals on the LPGA are like that as well. There's a lot of them out there. That's one of the things that I love about this sport. And I know that there's a lot of great things in many of the other sports, but golf really over the years has you go back into the years, early years of Palmer and Nicklaus and things like that, particularly Arnold Palmer. I know they've all done different things, but Palmer was famous for years in the earlier days of just doing a lot of great charity things and just giving back, and obviously continues to do so today. But I can remember growing up as a youngster hearing a lot about that. It wasn't just about his golf game and his victories and things like that. It was about what he did in his community and around the world
And it was just a whole different generation, and that mindset was all about really giving back and mentoring youngsters in that and helping them find their way through this difficult life. And sometimes it can be challenging, but when you've got some good some people like Arnold and Gary that you were mentored by, you can really perform miracles, and it's just a great sport to be involved with, and great to have ambassadors like that in the game.
Well, that's what Gary Player had taught me, and I'm going to pass it on to my collegiate players, to my junior players, and I know that one day they will step up to the plate and do good for their community down the road. And that's what the whole golf community creates. I believe the golf community is one of the most generous, charitable communities amongst any sport that's out there. And the amount of volunteers that get involved in these events, that give up their time just so they can help make a tournament a good success, to see a smile get put on a junior's face or a collegiate's face, that's what it's all about. And I'm very fortunate. I've got a great group of volunteers who work with me. I've got golf courses that are loving our events and get more involved every year. They come to me and say, "What else can we do for you to help your players while they're here?" They're always continuously trying to put out that extra outpouring effort in trying to make it a great event. And, it's funny, I hear from the members when I go back after the tournaments that are there, they go, "It's so quiet around here, we can't stand it. We want to see these kids back here already." So, that is really some good things to see when that happens.
Yeah, nothing can change a landscape like having some young ones around with having a good time and having fun. It's certainly what life is all about. Let me just real quick here, Mark, I just want to remind the listeners of a couple of things here real quick, and then we'll wrap up the segment, this final segment, just talking about some of the stuff that you're doing for 2014. And so we'll be right back here in a second. But for those of you that are tuning into the program, my very special guest this evening is Mark Naes, the Executive Director of Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour. And he's doing some great things that we've been talking about here the last little while. If you want to, if you're so inclined, you want to call into the program, and before we wrap things up with Mark, you're certainly welcome to do so. You can call in at area code 646-716-4667. You can also email me at ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. Or if you're surfing around, if you'd like to go on Facebook, while you're on Facebook, make sure you look up my Facebook page. That's facebook.com/golftalkliveblog. Make sure you have the blog on the end there, and that'll bring you right up to the page. And again, for those of you, I certainly don't do a lot of tweets, but I do tweet the upcoming episodes and things, and also update you on what's happening with Golf Talk Live. You can follow me on Twitter at Ted and Buck CEO, so I hope you'll do that, and I appreciate all of those that I said earlier that have been following me here in the last few weeks since I've been really plugging that, so I appreciate you doing that, guys. And lastly, real quick here, don't forget to visit the Golf Talk Live website. That's www.golftalkliveblog.com, and check out not only some great books, some of the guests that have been on here that have come on and talked about their books, and there's some great golf books there, not necessarily just about instruction, but also just about some great stuff that they've talked about in the golf business in general. So definitely want to check that out. I've got them up there, and the links are there as well if you want to go and make a purchase. And I would suggest that for those of you that have some golfers in your family and you want to do that, in addition to some great books that you can purchase right through the website, there's also a section there for products, and I've got some great products which I'll talk a little bit later on and after I'm finished this next segment. So let's get back to Mark. Mark, let's just sort of wrap things up here. What have you got cooking for 2014?
Well, 2014 we're excited about because we'll begin our Tournament Players Championship Series, which will be held at the TPC facilities. We will play at TPC Louisiana, TPC San Antonio, TPC Deer Run, and we'll be adding TPC Sawgrass in 2015. So these are the new venues that we're expanding to next year. The kids that are in my database and the ones that are going to be down here are looking forward to this new schedule that we're putting out next year. We're going to put up a FedEx point system with that. Not only would the winners of the tournaments receive scholarship dollars, you will get points, and the points will accumulate through our series to where at our Hardee's Players Championship in August, we will award an additional scholarship to the high point winner and high girl winner for additional scholarship dollars. So we're excited about our new format of expanding to the TPC facilities, and we're going to set all of our tournaments up just the same pin positions, same tee positions as when the tour players were there. So hopefully they'll get the opportunity to have that same 10-footer that, that Doug Johnson might have made for that win over there at TPC Louisiana. You just don't know, but it's going to give them that opportunity to be on more PGA Tour venues and just create another new atmosphere of college golf, and we're all excited about it. We've got a new group of sponsors being affiliated with that, and if anybody is interested in being a sponsor of our Tournament Player Series, just please, you can contact me at my website, and we look forward
and that's what I want to
next.
Right, and that's what I wanted to sort of wrap up the segment with is how can those that first off, how can those that are interested in maybe coming on as a sponsor to help some of the great tournaments out, how can they get in touch with you? And then also for those that are interested in signing up for the tournaments, how do they go about doing that? Let's give them that information here as well.
On both accounts there through my website www.secgt.com. Is where that you can reach me. My email's there. We have a contact form. You can see what we do. You can see our tournament schedules. You'll get some information about our tour, and you can see our list of great sponsors that we have at this time. So if anybody's interested in getting a hold of us for any of our events, not just the one coming up at the end of the month, but for next year, or if any corporations want to get behind and help support these young men and women and help give them some more scholarship dollars, we would love to have them on as corporate sponsorships.
Well, I appreciate that, Mark. And it's nice to hear that it's available to both the young men and women out there that are making their way through college. That's important. It's not just sort of isolating to one gender. You're doing it for really both, so it gives them an opportunity for both the men and the young men and the young ladies that want to get involved in a great organization. Let's just give them one more time. Let's give them the dates and the information, Mark, if you will, for the upcoming event coming here in December.
Okay, the Hardee's Old River Optimist Collegiate is being held at Perdido Bay Golf Resort on December 27th through the 30th here in Pensacola, Florida. And we have 4 spots left open right now for that field. I have over 31 girls registered right now, which is very pleasing to me to see that many girls signed up. And we're looking forward to the kids and their parents coming in town here in a couple of weeks. We're getting all geared up. We're having some great weather right now. I know the majority of is under a cold spell, but right, you never know what you're going to get at the end of December down here, but trust me, it's better than what you're going to get in Ontario.
Yeah, well, you can bet that for sure. But and what a great way to wrap out the end of the year as well. Right after the holidays to win this tournament. Talk about an exciting Christmas gift for some young boy or girl out there to come in and play in this tournament. That's a gift in itself. But to be able to come away and win the tournament and have that pride and honor of doing so against a field of fierce competition, I can guarantee you that, especially with the youngsters. They like to get out there and grind, but also gives them an opportunity to help with their education with some scholarship money that's being given back by your organization and obviously great organizations like Hardee's that are matching the dollars. So again, kudos to you, Mark, the Executive Director of the Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour, for putting this together and making this available for some of these young men and women, and also to organizations such as Hardee's for stepping up to the plate and doing a great job as well in helping with those sponsorship dollars. So continued much success. Let's talk soon off air and I've got some ideas that I think that would really help, and I think would be some fun things to do with your golf tour, Mark. So we'll talk soon about that. But I want to thank you very, very much for coming on Golf Talk Live tonight, and I will give the tournament for this month, another plug on my last show of the year next Thursday. So I'll make sure I plug that tournament at Perdido Bay one more time before the tournament comes on.
Well, Ted, it was my pleasure to be on your show. I appreciate you having me on and look forward to talking to you.
You too. You have a great weekend, Mark. Thank you very, very much. Again, the Executive Director of the Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour here on Golf Talk Live, just talking about how he's helping some of the youngsters out there have a great experience in this wonderful game, golf. Thanks, Mark. You have a great evening. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Ted. All right. Good night.
You're welcome. Good night. Okay, I see that my next guest is ready to go here, and just very quickly, just to remind you, for those of you that are tuning in a little bit later in the program here, my special guest this evening was Mark Naes, the Executive Director of the Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour, and you can get more information about the tour if you want to either participate, if you've got a young collegiate golfer that wants to play in some of the tournaments. You can get more information by visiting his website at www.secgt.com, and I'll be repeating that again later in the program, and also next week when I make the final announcement before the tournament comes on. But right now I want to bring a gentleman that I'm very blessed and honored to have a business relationship with, Mr. Jonathan Laird of South Coast Golf Guide. He's the publisher and owner of that guide, and he's also helped and stepped up and been a sponsor of Golf Talk Live and really been very supportive of this program. So I wanted to bring him on to talk a little bit about the guide. So let me bring him out here and welcome my very special second guest tonight, Jonathan Laird of South Coast Golf Guide. Good evening, Jonathan, and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Ted. How are you tonight?
I'm doing very well. Glad to have you on. I just wanted to let everybody know who was coming on the second part of the program here, and I appreciate you giving me some of your time this evening to come on and talk on the program. Jonathan, one of the obvious reasons I wanted to have you on the program is you've got a great publication here in the Southeast United States, and obviously, I've been very blessed in these recent months to work with you in a sense that, we've developed a relationship here that we're obviously working together, and you've been a big help sponsoring this program, and I appreciate that and help spreading the word about Golf Talk Live. And I wanted to return the favor and really let people know about what it is that you've been doing for I guess now 20 years. And so I'm going to clam up here, and I'm going to let you talk a little bit. Just let the listeners know a little bit how you got started in this and sort of the whys and the wheres and how it all sort of came about with South Coast.
Well, I appreciate the time and appreciate the opportunity to tell some people about our publication, about our mission statement, our goals, and bringing golfers from regional golfers, national golfers, and hopefully global golfers to this area. It's a well kept secret, which we're trying to debunk the secret. So I mean, you have courses in Northwest Florida. There's Panama City, Destin, Pensacola, Perdido, which is Mark mentioned the course that is the host for his collegiate tour coming up in a couple of weeks. You have Gulf Shores, right. You have Mobile. In Mobile you have the most southern course of the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, which is known worldwide. You have Mississippi, which is scattered with some really nice PGA player designed courses. Jerry Pate. You have Davis Love. You have just a lot of a choice of high end and medium range golf courses. Plus, you have, if you like to lose money or if you like to gamble, there are Mississippi Gulf Coast is known for their gambling as well. And then you move into Louisiana with the Audubon Golf Trail, which is similar to the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, but significantly different. They're 12 individually owned courses.
Right.
And they are scattered across the state of Louisiana. And, again, they have some Hal Sutton, they have David Tom design courses. So there's, I mean, you can pay as much as you want or as little as you want. It's a smorgasbord of golf courses here.
Yeah.
Plus, probably the biggest amenity here is the weather and the beaches in Northwest Florida. Probably some of the most beautiful beaches in the world. I would put our beaches up against any beach out there. So if you're a wife, you can bring the kids, and there's plenty of shopping, and there's also turn the husband loose and let him play golf for a little while. So there's 4 states. There's many hundreds and hundreds of miles of coastline from Panama City over to the Texas-Louisiana line, and it's just take your pick. Take 4 years and visit a different state each year. So it depends on what you like and what your interests are. So, but we have been doing it for 20 years.
Sorry, go ahead.
We've been doing it for 20 years. We started out just covering Northwest Florida and Gulf Shores, and over 20 years we've found that there was a need for a publication or an information piece to have regionally and nationally distributed in those two types of venues. And it's been rough. We're hit occasionally by a few hurricanes. Katrina in 2005, and Ivan in 2004 specifically hit Pensacola. And there's ups and downs, but it's a beautiful place to live, and it does get a little warm in the summertime, but that's why you have sunscreen and short sleeve shirts, and you can always overcome those obstacles.
Yeah, it's really tough. I know in the summer it gets a little hot, but boy, I'll tell you, I'll put that up over shoveling snow any day. Jonathan, one of the great things about your publication that I really like is it's compact, number one, but it's full of a lot of information on courses in the area and in the various states that you've mentioned, and it's nice for. Because I know that when a lot of couples and that families come down to the area, the last thing that the missus wants is to be lugging a bunch of stuff back with her, and this is a great guide that they can slip somewhere in their luggage or even into his golf bag and take back with them for next time, and it just gives them a number of different options and ways of contacting the course. It's got of course all the course information in there, a little bit about the facilities and things like that. So that they can, book their tee times and whatnot. So it's really a wealth of information. You also have some advertising in there as well. So we want to also mention that for anybody that's interested in advertising in Jonathan's publication, South Coast Golf Guide. You can do so by getting in touch with Jonathan at jonathan@southcoastgolfguide.com is the email. And also the website is www.southcoastgolfguide.com. And I know you've got some things in the works for next year. I know that you're working on fairly shortly in the next little while, getting ready to launch, I believe, a new website. Is that correct?
We're taking the website. What in the industry they call it live. We'll have an opportunity for listeners to. You will have a link there for your show, and you'll be able to go directly to your website and listen to archived shows. I'm going to go back and listen to the one. I'm specifically interested in the one that you conducted, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks ago with Billy Casper, and a very, very unique gentleman, and loves the game of golf, obviously, and I just have not had a chance. But we're going to have opportunities to promote junior golf. Mark has instilled in me the not the passion that he has, but the just the desire to promote and grow the game of golf, and the only way you can do that is starting off young. So we'll be promoting junior golf. We'll be promoting local golf tournaments, charity golf tournaments, things like that, with an opportunity for the golf professionals at each course to update or to inform us when they're going to be hosting a tournament. So it's we're stepping out. I feel like I'm going back to the future with. I'm a print guy. I've been doing it for 20 years, and stepping into the digital world and you and I have had discussions about that. It's I've doubled up on my blood pressure medication, and we're going to take it one step at a time. We're going to make it, and we're never going to stop. We're not going to not print a hard copy. We'll always have a print issue, but I think we'll be able to reach untold hundreds of thousands with the effort that we're trying to strategically place and the information that we're going to have on it. We're going to have golf images. We're going to have golf course images. We're going to have PGA images, and it's going to be updated hopefully on a weekly basis. And our goal is to be the source for golf along the northern Gulf Coast, from Panama City over to the Texas, Louisiana line. So that's a big. You got to set your goals high, and if you come up short, at least you tried. So that's what our efforts will be for the next 6 to 12 months. So 2014 is going to be a challenging year for us, but I think we've got people in place to help us accomplish that.
Well, and just to add to that, Jonathan, just to let the listeners know here, I can't emphasize enough that you need to get, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And Jonathan, I hope you can stay with me for another segment. I know you've got things to do, and got to get your rest, especially with taking all that blood pressure medicine. You got to get some rest.
I'm older than you, so I do need my rest.
Yeah, I know. That's why I had to throw that in there.
Thank you.
But anyways, but all kidding aside, I can't emphasize enough. Really the importance of a publication like this. And also let me just say this, and I'm not just saying this because you've been a big supporter of this program and, and helping to sponsor Golf Talk Live, but Jonathan's publication, South Coast Golf Guide, is, in my opinion, a first-rate publication guide for the golf industry, because I've seen a lot of other products out there. There's certainly some great ones out there. But what I really like about this is again, the uniqueness in its size. It's compact, so you're able to carry it around, and it's not this big bulky magazine, but it's full of a lot of information. And really what you're doing, Jonathan, with this publication, if I understand it correctly, is really you're introducing, and have been for many, many years, and in some cases even reintroducing a crown jewel in the Southeast, because for years, most people certainly equate Florida with having some great courses, and everybody understands the warmer climates and so forth, and obviously, of course, out in Myrtle Beach. But you're really introducing a lot of other areas, Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, and things like that, where there's a lot of great courses that people may not be aware of, and you can get a lot of that information in your guide. So for those particularly that may be coming from northern climates that want to come down here, that obviously want to bring their sticks with them and play some great golf, you really, have some great tracks in there. And well, they're all really great, but some really superb ones in there. One obviously comes to mind that's a favorite of mine and very close by is, of course, Sandestin Golf and Beach Resort, who I've had some dealings with in the past few years as well. And what a phenomenal first-rate facility in the Gulf Coast here to have. But your guide has really done that. It's a first rate. So let me just take a quick little break here, Jonathan, real quick. So if you can hang tight with me for just one more segment, is that fine?
That'll work.
Okay, perfect. Let me just remind those of you that are tuning in here, we've just got a little bit longer here on air, and then I'm going to wrap it up. A couple things. Next week, I'm going to be joined by another great guest, Dr. Kalen Teasdale. He's a sports and family chiropractor. He's also a fellow Canadian, so I had to throw that in there. And he's also a PGA of Canada professional. And he's going to be talking about, obviously, some of the injuries and things. And I know we've talked about that in past episodes.
with some other great guests on here, but he's going to give some other perspectives that maybe you haven't heard, and I wanted to get him on here. Again, he's reached out to me through some of the social media sites that I'm involved with, and really took an interest in the program, and I wanted to have him on here. So that's Dr. Kalen Teasdale will be on here next Thursday, which is December the 12th. He'll be on here on Golf Talk Live at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And don't forget, at any point you can call into the program at 646-716-4667, or you can email me at ted.golftalklive@gmail.com. And I'll give out the other information when I wrap things up. But, Jonathan, just to get back to you here, one of the things that I see happening, and you touched on this in 2014 with this guide, is as you move in and transition into newer markets, and I don't mean necessarily physical markets with the courses and things like that, but you're moving in really into an area where you're becoming more digital, if you will. I mean, you're still going to offer the print, of course, because that's really your base. But at the same time, you're moving into sort of new territory for you. But it's really important territory, because in this day and age with tablets and smartphones and this sort of thing, you really have to be in that market in order to get maximum coverage. And I can really foresee, once you've made that transition and got everything finalized and the going live with your site, you're really going to be able to tap into markets that perhaps haven't been available before, and I'm certainly very excited about that, and going to do whatever I can, through the program here to help that be a smooth transition for you, and hopefully lower some of that blood pressure for you. But anyways, I couldn't resist. But I know that it's been a little bit. I'm kind of like you. When I first started to make the transition to a lot of this technology, it can be a little bit daunting at times. But rest assured, once you get your feet wet and really and knowing what you've done with this publication so far in these 20 years and the professional quality that it is, I have no hesitation and assurance that once you make that transition into the more digital age, as you put it, that it's only going to be even that much bigger and better available to the public.
Well, thanks. What excites me is, or encourages me, is we print close to 50,000 each issue, and we do it 3 times a year. And the advertisers that use tracking mechanisms such as course discounts or coupons, they pay for their advertising in one issue with us with the redeeming with the coupons and discounts that are redeemed through the course of the year. But not only is the print going to be available, it's the unknown factor of how many people, and I'm not one of them, that walk around with a cell phone or a tablet, and it's the generation behind us that does that. And
right.
There's some in our generation that do that today. I mean, my wife gets coupons, shopping coupons, and she doesn't print anything off. She just shows it to the cashier. Yeah. And that I've talked to a few golf courses. I was in Destin this morning and Gulf Shores the day before, and I just kind of asked them if that's something that they would be interested in, and they seemed very interested. Maybe I don't want to say excited, but it's something that no one else is doing. And as I stated earlier, my goal is to make the Golf Guide not only the main source for golf, but restaurants and lodging and things like that. So with golfers, golfers get hungry, golfers get thirsty, and golfers need a place to sleep. So it only makes sense to tag these up together and offer, TripAdvisor, et cetera. So And really, the great thing about moving into this, transition like that is it obviously, as you know, print is certainly costly.
and that's why obviously you need to have the advertising revenues to come in to offset those costs. But the one nice thing about digital is, and having that as an additional source, is that you can really, it gives you a little bit more flexibility in some ways, because once the print is done, it's done. But the digital, people can have access to that at any point, and it's easier to obviously to change down the road if you decide you want to do something different. With the formatting, it's a little bit easier to change, and you can yet still have your print, keep it the same, but you can change the digital format, to suit whatever different needs if you want. So it gives you a little bit more versatility as well. But I think you're going to really like this. This transition, as I said, might be at first a little bit at times daunting, to move into this age, especially if you're not somebody from that area of expertise. But I know, Jonathan, based on what we've discussed in that you're going to certainly surround yourself with people that have their stuff together and are going to be able to advise and guide you down that path. And knowing what you know and the experience that you have, you're going to know what to look for and what not to look for to suit your needs. And the people that are truly going to benefit are the people that are going to get their hot little hands on that guide, and that's what we want to do. So let's talk about that real quick here. How can somebody that wants to get a hold of the guide, how can they do that? How can they get one in their hot little hands?
Well, you go to our website. The website is southcoastgolfguide.com. Starting in, and you mentioned Sandestin earlier as a long time advertiser with us. They have 72 holes. It's like a small city. It's a true resort. You can stay in villas that face or that are on the Gulf Coast, or you can stay back in little village type setting for your lodging. But we are going to be running 3 contests where you can register to win a 2 or 3 night. I'm not sure, the details haven't come in. A 2 or 3 night stay with golf for 2. I'm going to be giving, Sandestin and I are going to be giving away 3 of those through the course of 2014. So southcoastgolfguide.com, and that's just go to the link where it says Golf Getaway. Right now, Panama City is on there now, and we just haven't updated we haven't exchanged the Panama City information for the Sandestin. So give us 2 or 3 weeks and visit the website, and I'll mail you one as long as you're in the United States. I have no idea what it'll cost. I do know it costs about $6 or $7 to send it to your mother, your homeland, and it's I don't know why it costs so much to mail it north of the border, but that's just the way it is. But yeah, if you're in the continental United States, I will mail you one issue, a complimentary issue, and you can look at it. But with the guide going fully digital, you can get you can experience the guide right there. Golf discounts. You'll be able to print them out. There's maps, there's locations, there's amenities, there's great images, and we also feature on the cover a PGA Tour player. We have a gentleman that works for a major. You can watch a lot of sports. It starts with E and ends with N. I don't know if I want to. I'll just go ahead and say ESPN. And he is a writer and a commentator, and he's been writing for us for several years, and he gives us a unique insight as to what's going on. Adam Scott, the winner of the Masters, will be featured this in January, and Phil Mickelson, who won the Open Championship, was featured in the September issue. So we try to get current players, current winners, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and actually, just backing up for a second here, and if I'm not mistaken, I haven't been watching too much recently, but I think, didn't Adam Scott just win something down in Australia?
He was leading, and Rory McIlroy came in and snuck in and won it. It would have been a unique story. Bob told me to hold off on the on putting it to print, because if Adam would have won, it would have been I think he would have won the Triple Crown or something.
Yeah.
I thought there was something sure
I thought I saw something on it, but obviously I was mistaken. I knew that he was in the hunt, but I thought he did win something recently as well. But I saw something up on Facebook. But here, that's here nor there. But yeah, what a great champion to have. I like I've watched Adam Scott over the last several years, and he's a great player, and certainly has a lot going for him. And that win in the Masters was certainly long overdue. He's been hustling for a long time, the last several years on the tour, trying to get that major, and it finally came through for him, so I'm really happy for him. And I know that there'll be other things, and what a great thing to have on your guide as well. And, Jonathan, just to sort of wrap up here in that, I want to certainly thank you for the listeners out there. I've mentioned this, many episodes before, but I really appreciate the support and sponsorship that your organization, the South Coast Golf Guide, has done for this program. I appreciate you helping spread the word and for putting the links up on your website and that. And before I forget, because I know you've asked me this before, and I do try to remember, but also make sure for those of you that are on some of the social sites, especially Facebook, get on there on Facebook and go and visit, type in South Coast Golf Guide and get on there and like that page, because it's a great guide. So let's get the numbers up on that page on Facebook and get those numbers up. I know you've got a lot of people, great people following you as it is, but let's see if we can get those numbers up. And don't forget to visit and like my page as well while you're there. But Jonathan, the other thing I wanted to mention, because you said about, you'll send out the guides and that here locally, within the United States. For those of you that are maybe coming from more northern regions, like my country of Canada, something that you can do in preparation for coming down here is if you visit Jonathan's website, South Coast Golf Guide, and you go in through the digital version of the guide, what you can do is, depending on where you're staying, if you're coming down here in the Panama City Beach area, you can click on the Florida pages there and see some of the local courses. And correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the local courses that are in the guide that obviously are carrying the copy, so they can pick a copy when they come down here as well, if they're coming from out of the area, correct?
They are virtually, whether the courses, and this is what's made the publication so unique, that courses that don't even advertise in the golf guide allow the publication in the golf shop. So Edwin Watts, Hooters, virtually any condominium, any hotel along the Gulf Coast from Panama City to through South Alabama, along the Mississippi Gulf Coast. It's there. If you're coming from the west, it's at the Louisiana Welcome Centers. It's also in the Mississippi Welcome Centers. So we try to get it in places where golfers stop for bathroom breaks or for orange juice coming into Florida on the on the interstate system. So it's a lot of ask. If you can't find one, ask. There's Edwin Watts virtually in every town along the Gulf Coast and north. So, and there's the Hooters have been gracious enough to put displays in the Panama City Beach location, the Pensacola Bayou Boulevard location, and the Destin location in front of Walmart. So, three easy places, three easy locations, I guess I should say. If you can't find a guide, you can always find one at Hooters and stop in and eat some wings while you're there as well.
Yeah, exactly. Great idea. That sounds like a plan. Jonathan, thank you for coming on this evening. And again, I appreciate all the support that you've given the program and helping spreading the word and bringing some great guests like Mark from Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour on the program. I enjoyed having him on earlier, and I know that he's doing some great things. And let's you and I keep up the good work and help others come down to the area and enjoy some of the great golf that we have to offer.
Well, Ted, I appreciate the opportunity. I wish you the best with your new endeavors. I know you have some new things planned for 2014 as well, and hopefully if we work hard, keep our nose to the grindstone, that's what my dad always said. Just work hard and good things will happen to you. So I do appreciate it again. I do appreciate you having us on. And if ever you need somebody to talk about high blood pressure, give me a call and I'll be glad to pinch it for somebody.
I'll be more than happy to. Listen, Jonathan, you have a great evening. Thank you very much for coming on, and we'll talk soon. And we got some things that we're working on, so we'll talk very shortly about that. But again, appreciate it, Jonathan Laird from South Coast Golf Guide, and I'll give the information again before I wrap up tonight. But thank you for coming on the program, and you have a great evening and have a great weekend.
Hey, Ted, thanks, and have a good Christmas, and have a safe holiday as well.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, Jonathan.
Okay.
Good night. Okay, I'm just going to take a few minutes here. I know in the original schedule for the program tonight, and I apologize, but I wanted to have Jonathan on the program here tonight, and I want to apologize. I know that I was going to do another segment of The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and I'm going to pass on that tonight, but I am going to have it for next week, which will follow after my guest, Dr. Kalen Teasdale. He's going to be on next Thursday, December the 12th. I will have what I had planned for this evening on there. I just running a little bit of time here and don't have enough time to do that whole segment. So I will promise I will bring you another episode of The Good, Bad, and the Ugly next week on the program. So I apologize. I know it was in the program notes for this evening, but I just don't have enough time to do all of that. And I want to make sure that I have enough time to get that all in here. So, but anyways, for those of you that tuned in later in the program, had a couple of great guests on this evening. The first one obviously being Mark Naes, the Executive Director of Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour. Has a great tournament coming up this month, actually, at the Perdido Bay Golf Course in Pensacola, Florida. The dates are December 27th to the 30th, and it's the Hardy's Old River Optimist Collegiate. And it's designed to help the young men and women that are making their way through the collegiate circuit, if you will. And he's got some great tournaments coming up in the new year as well. But he's got this one here wrapping up the 2013 season at the Perdido Golf Bay Course in Pensacola, Florida on December 27th to the 30th. And I'll remind you again next week in that. So there's still a few slots left. I think a few positions. I think he said there was 4 positions still left in the tournament. So if you want, you can visit Mark's website at www.secgt.com, and you can contact Mark there. He's got his email on there, and also there's a form there if you want to participate in that tournament. There's still some time. There's still a few positions available, so if you want to do that, you can certainly do that. Or if you're interested in sponsoring on the Collegiate Golf Tour, Mark will certainly be more than happy to direct you in that way. So if you're a corporation out there and you want to get involved in helping some of these young men and women navigate their way through the Southeastern Collegiate Golf Tour, that would be a great thing to do as we get into this next season of 2014. I want to thank again Jonathan Laird of South Coast Golf Guide for coming on as well. Great publication. Make sure you get yourself your hot little hands on one, especially if you're planning on coming down to the southeastern part of the United States. Those of you in the northern states that are finding it a little chilly and want to come down and play some great golf, can't think of a better thing to do than to pick yourself up a copy of South Coast Golf Guide while you're down here. And for those of you that are in the United States, if you contact Jonathan at South Coast Golf Guide, he will certainly make sure that you get one out, get a copy out there before you take your trip. So get in touch with him. And if you're interested in advertising in his publication, strongly recommend that you do that. Especially if you're here in the golf industry and you want to advertise, if you're a course and you want to get included in the guide and you're in his region, he'll give you more information about that. You can reach him at jonathan@southcoastgolfguide.com. That's his email. It's jonathan@southcoastgolfguide.com, and he'll be more than happy to help you out. I want to take this opportunity again to make you aware of my guest next week is Dr. Kalen Teasdale. He's a sports and family chiropractor. He's going to be coming on. He's also a PGA of Canada professional, young man from out in British Columbia, I believe, a fellow Canadian. He's going to be coming on the program next week and talking about some of the areas that he works in and how he helps people get through injuries and really how to avoid injuries. So it's definitely want to tune in next week. And for those of you that were listening through the program and didn't get a chance to hear some of the previous episodes, but particularly the one with Billy Casper on. I know a lot of you that are big fans of Billy Casper. Go on to www.blogtalkradio.com/golftalklive, and if you scroll down just about an inch or so, you'll see the on-demand section. So any of the programs that are on here live every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, if you're not able to tune in during that time due to scheduling conflicts or what have you, or you're just busy with other events going on, you can visit that link, and you can go in through the on-demand section and hear some of the programs that you've missed. And I strongly suggest that you go on and listen to, especially the Billy Casper one, but all of them are great, but the Billy Casper one specifically, he's a great man, great ambassador to the game, and just was a wonderful guest to have on the program. And I feel very honored and blessed to have had him give as much time as he did to me. And he will be actually coming on in the new year. I don't have the exact dates firmed up, but he wants to come back, and he's going to be talking about, as I mentioned, I think earlier in the program, towards the beginning, that he's going to be coming back on and talking about his charity, Billy's Kids, and the great tournament that he has. I believe it is May 5th, if I'm not mistaken. Don't quote me on that, but it's May 5th. He hosts an annual tournament for his charity, and that's at his course in San Diego, California. So go and listen to the segment. It was on November 7th, and he was joined by Kent Novus of 9 Iron Sports hydration drink, which Billy obviously endorses, and it's a great product. I've tried it, so make sure you check out that interview with both of them on there. We had a great time and certainly enjoyed it. Anyways, thank you for tuning into Golf Talk Live. Don't forget to visit the website at www.golftalkliveblog.com and check under the books tab for some great books if you want to order some of the books that have been on the program over this last year. It's got a little bit about the book. It's got a copy of the book and also the link where you can purchase it, and obviously the authors behind it, some great guests that were on the program. There's a number of them down there. And also, if you want to get some great products for that golfer in your family, click under the products tab, and you'll see a few great products. Most recently added on there, of course, was the Star Putter putting tool that Chuck Cook, Master PGA Professional, is endorsing, and there's a little video on there that you should click on and listen to. He tells you a little bit about the product and what it's about. You can certainly visit that, and also have the website there, www.starputter.com. You can click on that and go and order your Star Putter putting tool. In addition to that, there's also the in-your-face view base for smartphones and or iPhones. You can click on the Buy Now button, and that will actually take you to a secure website so you can actually purchase that. And it's a great product as well. With Christmas coming up, some great ideas. And also on there is the No Sweat Get a Grip spray, which helps, especially down here in the South, when you get your hands a little sweaty, you spray that on. It's non-toxic, so you don't have to worry about any hazardous chemicals. And that was, of course, my great guest, Jill Watson, was on here a little while ago talking about that. There's also, just below the bottle image, you can click the Buy Now button and order that. And it comes in 3-ounce bottle, and it's just $8.99. Pick yourself up a couple of those, and it's, again, especially for those golfers out in some of the warmer climates, it's a great product to have, and maybe make a great stocking stuffer. So make sure that you visit my site at www.golftalkliveblog.com and maybe get a book and maybe one of the products as well, and give that to your golfer in your family. I want to thank you all for joining me this evening on Golf Talk Live, and I will see you next week. And I will have one more show for 2013 on December 19th, and I'll announce who the guest will be next week for that. And then I'll be taking a little bit of a break through the Christmas holidays and enjoying time with family and friends. And then I will be returning on January 9th with some new and exciting guests for 2014. And, of course, don't forget, as you heard me talk about in the past show and a little bit today, we're also going to be starting a new segment in March of next year of 2014 called Coach's Corner. Got a lot of great people lined up for that are coming on board, some of the great teacher professionals and coaches from all over the United States and around the globe that are going to be participating in that. You want to make sure you tune in. This is going to be a great opportunity for you to call in on the program on Golf Talk Live and speak to some of the coaches and get some tips and training to help you improve your game. So make sure you do that. And also, I'm going to be joined in the new year. We haven't launched the exact dates yet, but
going to be launching a new program under the Golf Talk Live brand, and that's going to be with my special co-host, the LPG professional Cindy Miller. She's going to be joining me here as well, and we've come out with a new product which is going to be called the Women of Golf, and it's going to be dedicated for you ladies out here that want to have a show just especially for your needs, and we want to do that and bring that to you. So Cindy's going to be coming on board with me on that, and we're looking forward to do that. And it's probably going to be in around that same time frame, March. So I'll be keeping you updated, of course, as the shows continue. But join me next week when my special guest again will be Dr. Kaylin Teasdale, PGA of Canada professional and a sports and family chiropractor, will be coming on here, and that's going to be on December 12th. And then one more show after that on December the 19th, and then we'll take a couple of week break, and then we'll be back on January 9th. So you want to make sure that you keep those dates in mind. Thank you again for joining me on Golf Talk Live. I appreciate you tuning in each and every week, and thank you for your continued support. God bless and have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you.